Aaron, back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Greg. It's time for another episode of Go with the Pros. Electrical issues in the home are often the most overlooked. Unfortunately, what looks like a small issue can actually be a really large problem. Trey Calhoun, electrical manager of Baker Brothers Plumbing, Air, and Electric, spoke with Jane about electrical safety and when it might be time to replace your electrical panel.
What are some electrical issues that homeowners often overlook that could signal a larger problem?
So those can be flickering lights, outlets that aren't working, breakers that continually trip. Those can be some issues that they tend to overlook.
Okay, and when you're saying those, I'm kind of thinking to myself, wow, I've seen that a couple times in my house. So for someone like me who's not that familiar, what is the purpose of the electrical panel? And is there anything that affects how long that panel lasts and is good?
So the electrical panel is basically the brains of the operation in your home's electrical system. It helps protect the wiring and the appliances connected to that wiring from any overloads, anything like that. So, and then, you know, surges are a really big issue with breaker boxes. Those really can decrease the life of a panel, and those can come from storm-related or power outages as well.
Interesting. So we have storms here, so that could well affect a lot of people's homes. So how do you know if it's time to replace an electrical panel?
So there's a few different things that you can see that it's when it's time to replace the breaker box. Those can be when you're remodeling the house, adding square footage to the house, you know, installing a new appliance, or, you know, installing a new pool. Those can be significant loads on the electrical panel, and they may not be able to take that. So at that point, you may need to go ahead and replace that.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier an electrical inspection. What exactly is that? Why is it so important? And how often does a homeowner need to have that kind of thing done?
So at Baker Brothers, we typically recommend doing that once a year. Electrical inspection is really good because we go in there and take a look at the entire electrical system. So we check the panel or the breaker box, the smoke detectors, GFCIs, all the plugs and switches, the entire electrical system. And we do that to make sure your electrical system is a safe working order.
That sounds like a really good idea, something that you should really do.
It is.
So any other tips regarding electrical safety in your home?
Well, when you hire an electrician or electrical contractor, make sure they're licensed, make sure they're a reputable company, and then any electrical work you're doing in a home should be done by a professional.
Okay, and again, you recommend that electrical inspection like once a year?
Once a year, yes.
Is now a good time to do that?
Any time's a good time to do that.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your information this morning.
Thank you.
Baker Brothers Plumbing, Air, and Electric is ready to provide you great service. Call 214-324-8811 or go to callbakernow.com for more information.
Go with the Pros is sponsored by Baker Brothers Plumbing, Air, Electric. Great service.
It's an exciting time for kids.